it's time for news at 10 past 10. Do 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 bum 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 do 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 bum 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 bum. News at 10 past 10. Guess who's live? Bim! Guess what? I'm live on YouTube. It's just said so on my telephone. Hello and welcome to the news review of the week, which I call News at 10 past 10, because it's at 10 past 10. Do it every Thursday. Do it as a podcast as well, so you can listen to it at your leisure. So what we normally do at this point is let a couple of people join in. Hi T, hope you're good. And we will then get cracking. Don't forget you can join in the chat. You can agree with me, disagree with me. We've got some pretty heinous stuff to talk about this week. Awful stuff. And then we lighten it up a little bit at the end and try and have a giggle and see what's going on. So yeah, Adrian Frequency, welcome. So yes, it's been horrendous this week, to be honest. Absolutely horrendous. It's in the wrong place. Hi DT. So you want to join in the chat? You don't have to join in the chat if you don't want to. That's absolutely fine. But by all means, feel free to do so. You missed last week. But you're back now. Well, you are indeed. I can see that because, well, you're there, you're back. So, welcome back. Welcome. BBRL. Chat's not working for you. I guess chat's working for you now. Don't forget you like, share, subscribe. Feel free to join in the chat. You can agree with me, disagree with me. But we have got some pretty horrible topics to talk about this week. So what we're going to do is we're going to wiki now. There you go. I'd figured that, BBRL, due to the fact that you retracted your statement when you typed in it's not working, and then it was. So yeah, all good, all good. Don't forget you can join in the chat. You get into top chats. I've not had a drink all week. Would have had a Guinness if I could. Well, you can have a sip of... No, you can't. I don't even do that if you were sat next to me. My drink is my drink. Drink! Drink! Like I'm doing my blinking McDonald's review things of the burgers and the Monopoly that's come out again this year. Very late. I always thought it was in May. But yeah, we are in, well, very late on. So I've 57 views so far. That's not bad. Because burger reviews don't normally get that much. Someone who hates the burger reviews and they just like every single one. Always amuses me. But it's not worried about that. Right then. Got enough people in, so we will get cracking. As I've already said, we've got some distressing content. Nothing visual, just descriptions of an event that occurred less than 24 hours ago, around about 24 hours ago, in America. So we're going to start with that, and then we're going to have a look at Keir Starmer's week, which has gone from bad to worse, which is good for us, because if he's having a bad week, it might make him think that maybe this job isn't worth having anyway. And then we'll look at the rest of the news for the week, and then we'll lighten things up the best we can with the fun bits at the end. Use the term fun loosely. So, like I said before, apologise in advance because we're going to be talking about the assassination of Charlie Kirk in America, which is the main story of the week. He was at Utah University, been described as a right-wing activist with well over 2 million subscribers and followers on various platforms. A good friend of many people on the right wing, including Donald Trump. I've been on stage with him a few times. And he's been trying to get the young people of America engaged in politics by going round to universities and having open sessions where he just sits there, they ask him questions, they put their opinion forward to him, and then he'll put his opinion back to them, and it's like an open discussion. Like I say in here, I don't expect everyone to agree with what I say. That's not really the point. The point is to get things, out in the open, a different pair of eyes looking on things and that kind of thing. Now, a lot of people don't like the guy, but that's politics. And I've said this before to a lesser extent in the UK, when Nigel Farage, during the election last year, had a milkshake thrown at him. And I said at the time, it doesn't matter what your politics are. If you're brave enough to go out there and discuss it and put yourself on the line, he's not a politician, don't get me wrong, but it's a similar kind of thing. You have an opinion and you have a belief and you want to get that out there, then you should not be in any danger whatsoever. You should not have people, shouting names at you. You should not have people throwing objects at you. We've had two sitting MPs murdered in the last 10 years or so in the UK, stabbed in the constituency areas when they were doing a meeting with local people. And then in America we had Donald Trump being shot at, and now we've had this murder of Charlie Kirk. Now, like I say, I'm not saying that everyone will think he's good, a good guy, but that's not the point. It doesn't matter whether you like him or don't like him. What you've got to respect is he put himself out there to actually try and make a difference. It's the kind of thing I kind of do, but to a much lesser extent. I don't have 2 million subscribers or followers. I have like 3,500, near enough. 3,300. But no, it's absolutely heinous what has gone on there. And what's even worse, and this is, again, I apologise if I actually didn't want to, but I went onto Twitter and I saw the video and I honestly thought it had been AI'd, because I've never seen anything like that in my life. I had a flashback to when I was a kid and when the Vietnam War was on, and only people of a certain age will remember this. There was I assume a Vietnamese man, I don't know, in a check shirt, tied up, sat on his knees, and a guy just comes along and shoots him in the head, and it's just horrible black and white image of that war, and it's kind of stuck with me ever since. And now it's been replaced by something even worse. And I don't understand what whoever did this is trying to do. We are entitled to our opinions. I don't agree with anything that Keir Starmer says at the moment, but I wouldn't wish him dead. As someone's already pointed out, he's got 2 young children, a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, and a young wife. He's 31 years old. His life is literally just beginning, and it's been snuffed out because someone doesn't like something he said. There is something very, very wrong in society. Yes, I know it's in America, but like I said, we've had similar things over here as well. And I don't think that politicians should ever face any kind of backlash other than putting your cross in a different box to their cross, or just saying, I don't agree with you, I'm not going to watch you, I'm not going to subscribe to your channel, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. That's fair enough. But to get down the personal insult route, to be vindictive and nasty, to throw things at people, like I say, Nigel Farage and other people, John 2 Jags Prescott famously egged and then punched the guy who egged him. Oh God, that was decades ago. People who put themselves forward to put an opinion regarding anything really should not have to worry that they're going to be attacked or murdered or assassinated for having an opinion. Shocking what's happened to Charlie Kirk. He leaves behind wife and 2 kids. I don't like him at all, so I'm not giving my opinion on what happened to him. Sorry, that's fair enough. But like I say, I don't know him. I don't know anything about him. other than he was on GB News a few months ago being interviewed by, I think, Leo, who's now gone to America, ironically. And he come across as someone who I don't necessarily agree with, but did it in a fair way, was reasonable, was not argumentative. And we've got a similar situation here in the UK. I mean, you know, I take the mickey calling Keir Starmer and Rishi Rich and Rachel from accounts and all that kind of stuff. But that's more tongue-in-cheek. I don't go around using really bad, calling them all the names under the sun or threatening to harm them in any way, shape or form. I don't think anyone should do that. You know, the next election obviously won't be voting for Labour. And that's what politics is. I wouldn't want anyone who's in politics to live in fear of any kind whatsoever. And it's shocking that something like this has happened again. I mean, you could go all the way back to JFK, the assassination in Dallas. The rumour mongers and the conspiracy theorists will be going for another 150 years about that. But again, it's just politics. People being assassinated. Lincoln before that. Ronald Reagan after that, attempted assassination. The Pope Pope John Paul II attempted assassination. Now, as I've said many times before, you can be whatever religion you want. I don't care. I'm a devout atheist. But if you want to be a Christian, a Catholic, a Muslim, a Jew, a Hindu, whatever, you crack on. You do whatever you want. That whatever makes you happy. I don't have a problem with it. I would never wish ill on anyone. But the situation that's occurred in the last, just over 24 hours, I think has shocked the world. And like I said, only for that brief interview that he had on GB News a good few months ago, I didn't know who he was. And we need to engage with as many different people as we can. And we need people to think about politics and not necessarily think, this guy's right or this guy's wrong, but to think about why this guy's right or why this guy's wrong or why this woman's right or why this woman is wrong. We've got to get the mind going. I mean, we've got to get away from this, I vote such a way. I mean, round here it's Labour because my granddad did. In other counties and other areas it's Tories because my granddad did. And I'm pretty sure that, your great-great-granddad, if he was still alive, wouldn't be voting Labour or Tory. They'd probably be voting Reform. And now, don't get me wrong, I'm not a massive fan of Reform either. But I wouldn't wish ill on anyone in politics and anyone who wants to talk about politics. And yeah, we've got to get the youth involved in politics because they are the future. And if they all sit around going, well, I don't know anything about politics, so I don't care, then that is when we need to engage and we need to get the politicians on board. And I often talk about politics with the college kids who come into the shop, because we might be having a conversation with an older person about politics, and they're kind of there, and we kind of bring them into the conversation. And more often than not, they're not that interested, but occasionally you do get some interesting comments. Like, I said before, I got a 16-year-old who was bemoaning the fact that they couldn't vote in an election, even though they're 16. And that was before Keir changed, or is trying to change the law so they can vote in the May elections. And that is a dangerous thing to do, I think, because a lot of the kids don't understand politics. But I said to him, well, if you could vote, this is before he had the opportunity to do so, who would you vote for? And like that, he said Reform. And I was like, what? He went, yeah, no, I agree, there's too much migration and this, that and the other. And he was quite knowledgeable. And I was like, okay, fair enough. I was expecting to say Labour because, that's what his mum and dad do and his grandma and granddad did and his grandma and granddad before that and their grandma and granddad and all that kind of thing. And I've had other conversations with other teenagers, most of whom are undecided but not happy with the situation at the moment. But again, it doesn't make anyone a bad person because they want to vote for someone or they want to talk about a topic in a certain way. Whatever that topic is, like I said before, whether it's religion, whether it's politics, whether it's climate change or whatever, we're all allowed to have individual opinions on things without risk of attack or certainly death. And it's just horrendous that this is going on. And the whole world seems absolutely buggered at the minute. Every country in the world just seems to be on edge, on a knife edge. And it's worried me where we as a country are going to go. However, I will leave that one there. I'll that one there. Other than to say that today, the gun has been recovered from the assassination of Charlie Kirk, but the gunman is still at large. And they've released an image of a person of interest, and the FBI have offered a $100,000 reward for information that leads to the arrest and I assume the conviction of said person. But no, if you want to believe in something, and even if you want to shout on the street, like you get these people call them God botherers, but you get these people on the streets with their megaphones reading out psalms and passages from the Bible and all that kind of thing. If that makes them happy, let them do it. We don't go around threatening people because they have different beliefs or different thoughts as what we do. Sadly, some countries do, but we'll come to that in a bit. No, the image that they're showing is definitely a man. But we shall move on, because, as I said earlier, it's not been a good week for a certain Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. It started off badly, and then it's just got progressively worse. And there was an old saying, say sticks and stones and all that. Yeah, absolutely, but everyone's just offended by everything now, aren't they? That's the problem. People are offended by, if you sneeze and someone says, bless you, they're offended. Anyway, next thing, this letter, handwritten, beautiful handwriting, from Keir Starmer to Angela Rayner. On Friday the 5th of September, Angela Rayner finally resigned as a member of the cabinet, as the deputy leader and as the housing minister. And we had a look at what she'd done wrong last week. And technically she hadn't brought the law, but she was a housing minister. A bit like, as we said before, the Labour Minister of Corruption is currently on trial in Bangladesh for corruption. It just kind of keeps going. But Angela Rayner finally resigned. There was a bit of a reshuffle in the cabinet. I wrote major, but looking back at it, it wasn't actually that good. But she was found guilty of breaching the ministerial code. That's the only reason she resigned. In her head, she doesn't think she's done anything wrong. She's only done it because someone else has told her she's done something wrong. A bit like Keir Starmer only thinks women are now women because he got told to by the Supreme Court. It's mad, isn't it? This is the people leading us. But that was on Friday. Now that's going to trigger, because she also resigned as deputy leader of the Labour Party. That triggered a election for a new deputy leader. There were a few people swapped around in the cabinet, but Keir Starmer cannot choose the deputy leader. That has to be done by the Labour Party members. So we'll see where we get to with that. And I must admit, at the minute, it's not looking good. By Monday, the question was, who will replace Rayner as the deputy Labour leader? By Tuesday the 9th, we had 5 women putting their names forward, but no men. I mean, is that a deliberate thing again? Is that, there are no men good enough to be deputy leaders? Hi, Gordy. Hope you're good. It just seemed weird that there was only 5 women. But they have to get 80 members of Parliament, Labour ones obviously, to support them in order to continue. So, that was on Tuesday. By Wednesday, it all changed. I mean, Angela Rayner, old news. We've got new news now. What's that? Well, the new news is that a certain best friend of Keir Starmer, Lord Mandelson, who was the UK ambassador in Washington, he got found out for sending emails and very weird stuff to Jeffrey Epstein, the convicted paedophile who killed himself in prison a few years ago and had an island that lots of people went to, including, allegedly, no, not allegedly, did go, Donald Trump. Now, Keir Starmer on Wednesday was under pressure to fire him over the Epstein revelations. The 2008 emails were released, and they included the rather bizarre term that he used, not Starmer, the other guy, Mandelson, him. He used the term yum yum when talking about going to his island. Yum yum? That doesn't sound right, does it? And he's his best friend as well, he wrote. My best friend. There's a picture of him there in a dressing gown talking to Jeffrey Epstein. It's just weird. But don't worry, because yesterday Starmer said in the House of Parliament that Mandelson deeply expressed his deep regret for these emails and his continued contact with Epstein after he was convicted as a paedophile. Doesn't get any better, does it? And Keir Starmer said, I have confidence in him. Oh, and apparently you're not allowed to call someone a muppet now. It's offensive. A man was arrested today in Bristol over a complaint made to police. He was released on bail, pending inquiries. Peter Harrington, you may be able to catch Hammer House of Horror Rewind TV on that episode. There you go then. And don't worry, Gordy. You're welcome. Everyone is welcome at any time. Like I say, I don't expect everyone to agree or disagree with what I say. But you're more than free to join in the chat and join the comments as well. We're currently talking about Keir Starmer. We've already done a bit of a monologue over Charlie Kirk and his assassination. But we're now under Keir Starmer and Lord Mandelson, who is our UK ambassador in Washington on Wednesday. And Keir said, I have confidence in him. Well, that's good. Following day, today, Thursday 11th, Keir Starmer sacks Mandelson at last. He grows a pair of balls. He should have done this with Angela Rayner as well. It's showing him as weak and indecisive and supporting the wrong people. And it's not the way that we want our country to be run. We want people who can make decisions, and the right decisions at the right time. And Keir Starmer seems incapable of doing that. So, yeah, Keir Starmer. Meanwhile, the normal news, if there is such a thing as normal news, so the rest of the news this week. On Friday the 5th of September, 3 British nationals were confirmed dead in the Lisbon tram crash, which we seem to have all forgotten about now, but the tram that came down the hill and crashed into the building, killing many people, it was confirmed that 3 of those were British. Donald Trump renames the Department of Defence to the Department of War. And he says it needs to be, although it does need to be passed by Congress. I mean, you know. Putin says the foreign troops in Ukraine would be legitimate targets even after a peace treaty was signed. So if there's any foreign troops in Ukraine, this is what he said on Friday, they would be, legitimate targets. Yeah, has confidence, sacks him. Angela, that happens all the time. As soon as a prime minister or if you're a manager of a football team, as soon as the club say they have every confidence in you, that means you're out the window about 10 hours later. So yeah. But yeah, Putin says if foreign troops are in Ukraine, even in peace times, they are legitimate targets. Brilliant. The Duchess of Kent dies aged 92. She was the oldest living royal. And then brought us to Saturday, the 6th of September. We're in September already, it's ridiculous. More Palestine action supporters arrested, over 400 at protests mainly in London. Meanwhile, on the same day, over 1,000 migrants crossed the Channel. So that's 30,000 so far on the first full day of the new Home Secretary's job. That's going well, isn't it? Mind you, only been in it a day. The IDF tell people in Gaza City, after destroying a second high-rise building in 2 days, move or you'll be next. So basically they're doing the ethnic cleansing land grab that they're doing. People saying genocide, don't agree with genocide, but certainly it's ethnic cleansing and it is a land grab. And if you've seen these buildings come down, it is like controlled explosions. But that's because they've got such powerful and accurate targets that they know what to hit, where to hit in the building to make the thing fall down. Which proves the point of why they're carpet bombing everywhere, when they can literally, like they did in Beirut, fire a rocket or a drone into a room of a hotel and kill one person without damaging any other room in the hotel. It's ethnic cleansing. It's a land grab. That's all this is. And they're just making excuses. But we're letting them get away with it. This is Saturday, by the way. The inquiry into the tram crash confirm that the cable detached from the top car. So basically what it works, a bit like a lift. If you've ever seen a lift in a glass, we've got one in the Grand Arcade, and we had one in the galleries as well. It was glass, and you can see it going up and down, but you can also see the weights going up and down, the counterweights, and that's basically, you think of them as being the two trams. So you got the tram at the top and the tram at the bottom, funicular, that's the word I was looking for. And what happens is you release the brakes on the tram at the top and it brings up the tram from the bottom, and then, because they're joined by a cable, and then it goes back again. It's similar to what, you know, if you go on a skiing holiday and you've got those things that take you up to the top of the hill, but they just kind of go around, cable car things. They go around a wheel and it's all one cable, and they just kind of go around the wheels at the top and the bottom. It's like that, but the joints, so they go up and down, exactly like the lift. So if you see the lift going up in a glass, you'll see the weights coming down, and vice versa. If the lift's going down, you see the weights going up, and that's how the vernacular works. What's genocide? Genocide is when, genocide is what Hitler did to the Jews. Basically tried to wipe out the entire race. That is genocide. Ethnic cleansing is where you make it impossible for people to live, or feel because there's nowhere left to live, or they fear for their lives, so they move away, and that is ethnic cleansing. But genocide is not going on because they are killing people innocently, but they're not killing everybody, which is what the Germans tried to do to the Jews in World War II. And obviously it's happened, the British did pretty much the same thing when we went to certain parts of Africa back, hundreds of years ago. But yeah, that's genocide is what Hitler tried to do to the Jews and the gays and all that kind of thing. And as far as I'm concerned, ethnic cleansing is what's going on in Gaza, which is where you make it impossible for people to live there. You cut off the water, you cut off the electricity, you destroy the buildings, you make it so that they fear for their lives, their children's lives, their families' lives, so they move away, and then you claim the land. That's basically what's going on in Gaza, and to a lesser extent, but still going on, in the West Bank. Brings us to this week, which is Monday the 8th of September. And once again, France's government falls as the PM does not survive a no confidence vote. Now, the problem with the French is they have a proportional representation. Now, everyone moans about the first past the post over here. Italy has proportional representation. A few countries have proportional representation. And I've got to say, their governments and everything are very, very unstable. It doesn't really work very well. And France now is in turmoil again. Hiya, Stephen, Kelly and Rollo. Hope you're good. Thank you. I never got to any of that at school. Okay, but you know what I mean about what Hitler tried to do with the Jews and the gays and all that kind of thing. He wanted to make the Aryan race. He wanted to make, particularly all the men, blonde hair, blue eyes, and very athletic. But he didn't want to, but he wanted to kill the gays. But he wanted all the men to look like twinks. Yeah, very bizarre. Anyway, he's dead. We don't really care. Well, you thought, everyone, yeah. Anyway, I got very confusing. But yeah, ethnic cleansing. No, moved on that. We're on to proportional representation. Now, someone said that proportional representation would mean that we'd have more people, say for reform in the government. And I wrote about this and studied it quite a bit a few months ago, just after the election, and I think it makes things more unstable than what they already are. I mean, maybe we want unstable at the minute so we can get rid of this government, but I think overall we're better off having a stable government, but we'll see, even if it's a bad one. Meanwhile, the BBC News at 10, my favourite programme, interviewed the writer of Father Ted, who was arrested after coming into the UK by 5 armed police officers because he did a tweet that wasn't very nice towards trans people. So they sent 5 armed police officers to arrest a comedy writer at the airport when he landed in Britain. Welcome to Starmer's Britain. But the thing was, they interviewed him on GB News, which I thought was interesting, and he basically said, you know, it's a disgrace and blah 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 blah, and you know he had a bit of a minor heart complaint, so he had to go to hospital and the stress and everything else. And then he gets interviewed by the BBC, and the BBC side on the trans community with the interview, and I'm like, hang on a minute, the guy tweeted something that was mildly offensive to trans people, but only the trans people get offended by anything, like we said before. He gets arrested by 5 armed police. 5 armed police at the airport, and they're sided more for the trans community than they are for an individual who was arrested by 5 armed police at an airport. I'm like, BBC, I think it's time to defund the BBC. Get adverts on. Let's get rid of them. Again, not everyone will agree with me on that, but there you go. Heathrow, talking of airports, Heathrow Terminal 4 was evacuated after possible hazardous material was reported, after 20 people reported injuries, although no one really knew what it was. There was nothing found, there was no trace of anything, and it was only 20 people in a very busy airport. And the police say that they think it might have been a mass hysteria event, which has not happened for a considerable length of time, to that scale anyway, where something happens to someone and then people around kind of get sucked into it and they believe that it's happening to them as well. I think the nearest analogy I can come up with, and it's way off the mark, is if you're on a motorway and all the cars pretty much stop and you're in a traffic jam for 5 or 10 minutes, and then all of a sudden it all goes again and there's nothing there, and all the traffic spread out all over the place, and there's no, you're like, what the hell happened there? What it normally is a car somewhere down in front of you has broke quickly, which has forced the cars behind to brake, and then that's just gone woof 12 miles an hour backwards down the motorway until the cars, even 2-3 miles down the motorway, come to a halt, and then everyone gets going again, and that thing is carrying on behind you, and it can go on for quite a long way. But the incident in front wasn't even an incident. It might be something like that, where something's happened to someone, and then someone else has thought, oh, that's happened to me as well, and it's created this weird mass hysteria thing where everyone's kind of followed the leader. It's very, very, very strange. But the good news is there was nothing found, and it was not a serious incident. Meanwhile, 6 people were killed in Jerusalem at a bus stop, at a shooting, and Benjamin Netanyahu strikes Gaza again, demolishing more high-rise buildings. He says he's demolishing these buildings because Hamas are using them as lookout posts. So he's destroying them all. If he hadn't have actually destroyed all the buildings around these big buildings, then his troops could have stuck up without being seen. But now there's just rubble there. We can see for miles. I just don't understand what's going on with that. But we let him get away with it. Oh, it's only Ben. It's Ben. Oh, Ben, don't do it again. Don't be naughty. Have a little inquiry or something. Just don't be naughty. Don't be naughty, Ben. You know, it's shocking what he's been allowed to get away with, and I don't quite understand how he's still getting away with all this stuff, because it brings us to September the 9th, which was Tuesday. And on Tuesday, well, Benjamin, he's a bit naughty again. What he does is, whoa, what's going on there? What he does is he fires a bomb, well, an air raid, into Qatar's capital to target Hamas leaders who are in exile. Starmer says it violates Qatar's sovereignty, and Trump is very, very angry indeed. I don't think I've seen Trump as angry since he swore about Putin a couple of weeks ago for completely bombing people. But why are Israel allowed to just go bombing here, there and everywhere? And everyone's like, it's only Ben, he's having a bad day or whatever. It doesn't make sense that he just gets away with it. Anyone else, and it'd be like, oh no, we've got to do something. It's just insane what is going on. People are still supplying weapons. I know Germany said they're not going to supply weapons anymore, but no, I don't get what he's got on everyone else. Meanwhile, the White House deny Trump's lewd letter to Epstein. Now this is I'm not showing it because it's a bit rude. It's basically some naughty words written down, basically saying how wonderful Epstein is. It was for his 50th birthday. It was a letter. It was typed, not handwritten, because Keir Starmer can't write with his pen, but Trump can type or get someone to type for him. But then it was drawn round like a sexy lady with a little bit of that, and his signature was at a certain area as well. We all know his signature kind of looks like. But he said, no, nothing to do with me. It's all completely fake news. I never wrote anything like that, and it's not to do with me, and blah 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 blah. And there's pictures of him with Epstein. So go figure. Hiya Stato, hope you're good. The letters, Mandelson's letters show friendship to his best pal, and Starmer spokesman says he has confidence in him still. This was on Tuesday. I missed that bit out before. More BBC bias for HMO and hotels. We had that guy who I really don't like, the patronising voice guy who talks like this. Well, it's just, it was in Wigan. Going on about HMOs and how these people are going in, and he's basically saying, well, they've got nowhere else to go, have they? So stop moaning about it. But then he says, well, people have no choice. I'm like, well, either they do or they don't, but we have a choice not to do this. So Doctor Who chat, he likes his Doctor Who chats. But yeah, people have no choice, and that is the only thing he said positive. Everything else was, I don't know, I just can't stand the guy, he does my head in. Wednesday the 10th, BBC bias, you see. Prince Harry meets the King for an hour. They have tea together. It's the first time they've met since February last year, when Charles became public about his diagnosis of cancer. Israel issues evacuation order on all in Gaza City, although a lot of the Gazans have said, well, we can't go anywhere because we haven't got anything to go with, and we haven't got any money, and we haven't got any food, so we can't go anywhere. Benjamin Netanyahu has basically said he's going to blitz what already is a blitz city. Russia denies deliberately sending drones into Poland's airspace. Whoopsie. There was 19. Many were shot down. Poland called it an act of aggression. And it is an act of aggression. You cannot go into other people's airspace. Now, today, I think I've just seen somewhere briefly, I bet it was a sausage roll and a coffee. The meeting with the king, I assume. You can't fire weapons over other people's territory, apparently. Although it's alright for Israel to fire over other people's territory when it's bombing Iraq or Iran. That's okay. America doesn't say anything about that. But it's not okay for drones to fly over Poland. Now, remember last week we were talking about the meeting that Putin and Xi Jinping whatever he's called, and the Rocket Man, Kim Jong-un, had, and others, Indian presidents and other ones. People are speculating now that this was a test to see how they would react if they fired these drones over Poland. And some people are saying they're not even armed drones, they were just drones that look like armed drones. So was it a test to check the responses? Was it let's see what happens if we do this? I think serious things should happen. Not war, but certainly, action should be taken against Russia again. But China is their friend, and China make everything. China, as I've said before, have been very cunning. They've been very quiet. They've not done anything wrong for a few decades, and they basically took over all production of everything in the entire world. From the TV I'm looking at, from the keyboard I've got here, to the mobile phone I've got, to the chips in my car, to steel, everything, even COVID, all comes from China. So if we upset Russia or do anything to Russia that China don't like, they can just stop the whole world from doing anything. So yeah, we've backed ourselves into a corner. There's not a lot we can do about it. But anyway, it doesn't matter because Russia denied doing it deliberately, so it's all fine. Let's crack on, shall we? Oh no, it's a different show. September the 11th. Yes. 9/11 in America. The 24th anniversary of 9/11. It was nearly a quarter of a decade ago. I mean, how scary is that? And that's what's triggered all this off. Well, if that hadn't happened, if other things, if we hadn't reprised back, and we'd have kept the governments in, the dictators that we're in, we may not be in the situation we're in now as a world. So it's all kind of stemmed from that in the last, nearly quarter of a century. Have you seen the islands China have built? Yes, in the China Sea, I think it is. Particularly quite near Taiwan. Basically, big rocks put on ships and then dumped in the sea until they form islands and then expanded upon. I mean, it's ingenious, and it shows their ability to build stuff, and all the rocks have come from where they're building all these roads and everything. So yeah, half a mountain gouged out like that, big mountain, so they could put a road through it. And all them rocks now are in the sea somewhere, making an island. I mean, you've got to say, China are very good at doing stuff. How long it'll last for, I don't know. Well, Poland have warned Putin if he puts a drone in his airspace, then he'll pay big time for it, which I think Putin is testing out the weak country leaders. Yeah, one of them has even said, we'll talk about later, one of the Russian top brass, that we can expect strikes on London. I mean, we can't, but that's what they're threatening. But I won't hold your breath on that one. And it was on about time. 24th anniversary of 9/11. The Birmingham bin strike has been on for 6 months. 6 months. The Birmingham bin strike. I mean, we've had a really hot, dry summer as well, so you can imagine the stink in that place. Must be absolutely horrendous. Hi, it's me. I'm being horrendous. How are you? Anyway, shall we lighten the load a little bit? Shall we try and be a little bit more happy? A little bit more. Hang on a minute, I've just realised something. Am I? Oh, that's why you're falling behind. Oh, sorry. I meant to turn the adverts off. So if you get an adverts, I do apologise. Hence the delay. Right, I think we're back. So, let's. It's been a pretty awful week. It really is. It's just been terrible for world politics. I mean, the only good news really this week is that Keir Starmer's had a bad week. That's probably the best thing that we can get from this week. Anyway, let's have a look at the. Oh, that's wrong as well. Didn't need to do that. Sorry, that's the stats from my driving video I did on Tuesday on the way home. I didn't mean to show you that. was there for someone else. There's a woman in London who's 6 months of rubbish in her hallway because of the strike. She's in London. Birmingham. Ugh. That's horrible. Angela's financial advisor is finally revealed. Sorry. That picture just made me laugh. Remember, this is a woman who reckons when she was in opposition to get, was it 40,000 extra police would cost around about £15,000 a year. And she was questioned repeatedly about it, and she's like, yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. And so hence the joke. Yeah, anyway. Again, all the sport I follow is Formula 1, and that is genius. Formula 1 moments in Lego, and it's Charles Leclerc sat on a hill. Very Alonso-styley, and Kimi Räikkönen as well. Back in the day. Man is going viral for showing his 1973 Chrysler that got rear hit by a modern car and barely took any damage. It's got a little scuff on the number on the bumper, the chrome bumper. Look at the state of the new car. I mean, to be fair, they are built with crumple zones. It kind of makes sense. If anything, you're probably safer in the car behind than what you would be in the car in front. Diane Abbott, that's the one. Her name failed me, which is not a bad thing necessarily. This is another meme. Britain's least favourite ginger has got a new contender. It's Angela Rayner. So, competition for Britain's most unpopular ginger hots up. Prince Harry, Ed Sheeran, and now Angela Rayner's joined the fold. Meanwhile, another meme. A picture of Angela Rayner, Keir Starmer, and Rachel from Accounts with outside a job centre with the logo, 1 down, 2 more to go. Meanwhile, Wigan MP Lisa Nandy voices support for Rayner following her resignation. You're like, read the room? Talking of actually Lisa Nandy, you know what I was on before? About Charlie Kirk, and politicians in general should not be a victim of, nasty things or threats or anything like that. Whenever Lisa Nandy appears on the Facebook page of Wigan Today, it just goes brrr, and the comments are absolutely vile. I mean, yeah, I don't agree with what you say or something like that, that's fine. But some of the stuff they say, I'm like, how are you allowed to get away with that? And why would people go into politics? I mean, I ask that about Lisa a lot, but I mean, I would never threaten her. I disagree with her. Yeah, I wouldn't threaten her with violence or anything. North Korea, according to the Defence Common Select Committee, will have intercontinental nuclear missiles that will strike Britain within 18 months, and that was in 2018. Yeah. Hi, Seaside Bandit. Rachel Thieves. Yes. Reform UK. Lee Anderson MP. Have no fear. Reform are here. We will punish them at the ballot box, and that is the only way we can do it. It's the ballot box. You've got to do it in the ballot box. I mean, we currently got a load of clowns leading us. Yeah, got to vote them out. Diane Clueless Abbott. Oh yeah, absolutely nonsensical, that woman. French school asks parents to stop throwing their children over the fence when they are late. Normal parents running in with the kids. French parents just chucking them like they're a javelin or something. I mean, we laugh at the Americans when they had to tell parents not to let their children eat, the small disc batteries, the 2035s or whatever, 2032s or the 2025 batteries, because it'll kill them. Actually had to tell American parents not to let their children play with these batteries. And now there's a school in France asking the parents not to throw the children over the fence if they're late, but to come through the gate and press the button and everything like, you know, normal people. This is a weird one. Not sure about this. Nipple equality. The number of US states where women can go topless is actually more than can be counted on one hand. Who knew? Who knew? I mean, I've not gone topless this year properly. Oh, I did once. I've had an open shirt which might have blown in the wind, but I've not gone shirtless because I'm like that age now where it's just flab. I quit gaming at 40, Damon H. I also quit gaming at 30, at 35, at 45, at 50, and now I've just keep playing. I give up. It's like, yep, put me in that old people's home and I want my Mega Drive. I'll still be able to play Sonic or whatever. Kit, new. Quick reminder to everyone who's new, thank you for joining. Feel free to like, share and subscribe. Also feel free to dislike if you don't like what I'm saying, that's fine. But keep it polite. We have moderators who will quite happily ban you if you say anything untoward. But it's a friendly group and we do have a laugh when we can, although we've had some very serious, horrendous topics so far. But now we're in the lighter side of things, including the possibility, would you want to see Angela Rayner eat a testicle? Don't worry, I mean in the jungle. Angela Rayner set to enter I'm a Celebrity. I'd rather eat a kangaroo bollocks than eat my own words, she said. Yeah, it's not real. This is Wakefield News. This is a complete spoof newspaper, but it does come out with some cracking stuff and we do use it quite regular. This man robbed a bank so he could get arrested and escape his wife, but ended up sentenced to house arrest instead. A Kansas man once robbed a bank, not for money, but because he wanted to get arrested and escape living with his wife. He handed the teller a note demanding cash, then calmly waited to be caught. But instead of prison time, a judge sentenced him to house arrest, forcing him right back to the home with the very person he was trying to avoid. This bizarre case quickly went viral as one of the most ironic punishments ever handed down. Oh, she has to pay for that flat sum out to you. God, what? Have you ever seen those things that say what people will look like in the future? I mean, nowadays it'd probably be quite good because of AI and all that. Well, 20 years ago they did the cast of Friends, and that's what they thought the cast of Friends would look like in 20 years' time. Yeah, no. We brought this up last week. This is the Flatiron Building in New York, which is, if I ever went to New York, which I never will, but if I ever did, I'd want to see this building because it's always fascinated me. But I've never seen a floor plan before, and it was completed in 1902 by architect Daniel Burnham, an iconic early skyscraper whose distinctive triangular form has become a symbol of the city's skyline. And yeah, it's a fantastic building, but I always wondered what they managed to get in that narrow bit at the end. But the good news is, it's actually quite a big building because it's got 2 windows wide, so it's actually quite a decent sized building. But in order to get to it, there's no corridor, you have to go through other rooms to get to it. So, but yeah, I'd love to sleep in one of them rooms, but I'll never go to, I don't even have a passport, I'm not supposed to go to America. I don't want to scare you, but we are, well, Halloween stuff is in the shops. I saw some Christmas stuff in the works today. It was the elf, the naughty elf. Loads of naughty elf stuff in the works today. Oh dear. I nearly bought one, to be fair, so I could have a naughty elf in the shop. But we're not even in Halloween yet. We're not even in October yet. Come on, works. Stop it. Anyway, Halloween, yes. Officially the scariest Halloween decorations I've ever seen. And it's a load of freaky normal dolls, but they're all stood up, they're all in a line, and there's loads of them walking across a garden, and there's a group of them, and they're carrying taped up bin bags which look like they've got a body in them, but there's two of them, and that is creepy. That is very, very creepy indeed, getting the Halloween spirit. And then we've got this. Forget the Exorcist. The scariest thing was public information films in the 1970s, where children basically got murdered left, right and centre. Well, they didn't get murdered, they had accidents, like swimming in a lake or a pond, and death would come and get them. Falling over on crossing a train line and getting hit by a train. They never show you the actual death bit, but it was more than implied. Being electrocuted by swinging a thing around your head near an electric train line. Being electrocuted by climbing into an electric substation. I mean, basically, these were horrific, being run over in a million different ways. Absolutely gaga. But yeah, that's what as growing up we had to watch. No wonder we all grew up terrified of everything. What's that, Stato? Not officially autumn until the 22nd of September. Thank you. I did not know that. Last weekend for Sauber Motorhome, which is older than Kimi Antonelli. Again, it's F1 stuff. So last weekend, when they're racing in Europe, they have these motorhomes that they build at all the different tracks, and the one that one of the teams is using is older than one of the Formula 1 drivers, because he's that young. It's scary. This is fun as well. They would always zoom into the traumatised friend. Absolutely. Screaming. Usually a girl screaming. Two psychologists in the 1930s adopted a baby chimp and tried to raise her alongside their own baby boy, Donald, to see if this caused the chimp to learn human behaviour. After 9 months, they stopped the experiment because their son started behaving more like the chimp. That's irony, isn't it? I mean, you got to try these things, I suppose. But yeah. Victor, the boy who laid on top of his friend to shield him from bullets during the Minnesota school shooting, has been released from hospital and is recovering with his family. Victor, the 10-year-old, this is a good story, who heroically shielded his friend Weston during the tragic mass shooting, has now been released from the hospital and is recovering at home with his family. Weston, whom he protected, also survived but will require surgery to remove a bullet fragment lodged dangerously close to his carotid artery. Doctor described Weston's survival as near miraculous given how close the shrapnel was to a major artery. A GoFundMe campaign supporting Victor's recovery has surpassed $300,000, while support for Weston's care is also underway. But yeah, a mass shooting in America a couple of weeks ago, and a hero child has been released from hospital, so good news. People with beards are just people without beards with beards. That's all I'm saying. We had a blood red moon because of the eclipse thing, and everyone was expecting to see the top image, and what we actually saw was the bottom image, but there are some decent ones a bit later on from around the world. 46 years ago, on September the 7th, 1979, the Buggles, an English duo comprising of vocalist and bassist Trevor Horn and producer Trevor Horn, and keyboard player Jeff Downes, who's still touring with Yes, released their debut single, Video Killed the Radio Star. It has gone to become one of the defining songs of the early 80s and was the first ever music video played by MTV when it launched on August the 1st, 1981. Vince Clarke, Depeche Mode, Yazoo, Erasure has described it as the greatest pop song ever written, and do you know what? I don't think he's far wrong. And do you know what? It was the first record I ever bought in 1979. Buggles' Video Killed the Radio Star. And on the video, if I'm right, the guy on the keyboards, if you can see him, yeah, you can just about see him up that way. That guy there, I think, is Brian Eno from Roxy Music. If it's not him, it's definitely, he's got something to do with it anyway, with the Video Kill the Radio Star song. But yeah, first record I ever bought, and that makes me feel old. I mean, I am old, but yeah, 46 years ago. God, time. Don't you hate it? Now, if you have a squeamish disposition, maybe close your eyes and mute the volume for a little bit. Public information film called Dark and Lonely Water about drowning, narrated by Donald Pleasance. Yes, that's the one, with death and the sigh and everything. Scientists claim cockroach milk is 3 times more nutritional than cow milk. Scientists discovered that the Pacific beetle cockroach produces a milk-like fluid to feed its embryos, and the crystals formed from it, the secretion, are astonishingly nutriently dense. Per gram, these crystals contain about 3 times the calories of cow's milk and are rich in proteins, fats, carbohydrates, and all the 9 essential amino acids, making them a complete food that releases nutrients slowly over time. Despite the hype, it isn't practical to harvest, since thousands of cockroaches will be needed to produce even a small amounts, and its safety for humans has never been proven. Would you have a glass of cockroach milk? No. I don't even drink cow's milk, so no, definitely not. This is a poignant story. My stepdad told me it was pointless to apply to be... My stepdad told me it was pointless to apply to med school because I was too stupid to be a doctor. 8 years later, and one of us is an unemployed loser with a drinking problem, and the other is making six figures and going to Hawaii this weekend to renew his wedding vows with my mum. Very clever. It made me laugh anyway. And this is definitely me, 100... That wasn't me, but this is definitely 100% me. History in school, yawn, bore. History is a hobby, and there's a guy there with... like what you see in dramas when they try to figure out who's done a murder, with a board with all these lines going in for him. Another public information film was about bonfires and fireworks and showed children who get burned. Shown in the 70s will never be shown nowadays. Too graphic. I forgot about that one, but yeah, you are right, Stato. Definitely. Max Verstappen at Monza sets a new track record. No one's ever gone faster around the track than that. Only by a few hundredths of a second, but every little helps. He's got the most poles for Red Bull ever. Records the fastest F1 lap in history with an average speed of 264 kilometres per hour. First win from the pole since Charles Leclerc in 2019. Sets the biggest winning margin this season of 19 seconds. And records the fastest ever won race in history, 1 hour 30 minutes and 24.325 seconds. Average speed of 250 kilometres per hour. Now, you might be like, yeah, okay, that's interesting. Thing is, the car he's driving is not competitive this year. It's really, really crap. So the fact he's doing that is absolutely stunning. The GOAT, I say. Greatest of all time. Philomena Kunk, one of my favourite comedians for a TV shows, Kunk on Britain, Kunk on History, Kunk on the World, Kunk on Earth. You've got to watch them, they are hilarious. Picture there, I'm holding a piece of paper with something written on it, which is having a go at the the police who arrested over 900 people, it turned out, at protests in London, who basically had a piece of paper with something written on it that the police didn't agree with. Here's a lovely picture of the blood red moon. Last night's full red moon rising during a total lunar eclipse of the Great Pyramids of Giza, and it's basically smack bang on top of the pyramid. As near as you're going to get it anyway. Fantastic picture. Another picture here. This is the Lake District. Someone's got a picture of it somehow. I think that's too perfect to be fair, even if it's AI, but it's a nice picture. So we'll go with that. But if you weren't lucky enough to get a picture of the blood moon, don't worry, because Viz, the adult comic, has it sorted in their top twips. Failed to capture a photo of the blood moon. Fool your friends by photographing a slice of salami on a black background. And there's a picture of a slice of salami on a black background, and it looks exactly like the blood moon. So there you go. It's genius. Remember, you can't lose reason and logic with people that don't know the difference between a boy and a girl. Oh. That's not what I thought it said, but never mind. The first Grand Prix at Silverstone was the inaugural Formula 1 World Champion, raced on May 13th, 1950, held at the former airfield in Northamptonshire. It was attended by King George VI. Indeed it was. I wasn't there. I'm not that old. Supermarket giants face huge financial blowout in Australia. Supermarket giants Woolworths and Coles have flagged hundreds of millions of dollars in redemption costs following last week's court ruling over the alleged underpayment of staff. Both companies have provided details to the Australian government about potential financial impacts of last Friday's findings, which saw the federal court hand down a judgment on 4 cases against the supermarket chains. So basically, they've not been paying people the full wages, keeping the profits for themselves, and they've been called out. One thing I will say about the Australian government is they do call out the superstores, whereas our stores just put prices up willy-nilly. They price match, not beat. What's the point of having the same price as Aldi? I might as well go Aldi, because there'll be more prices, Aldi prices, than what there is in Tesco or Sainsbury's or wherever. So why don't you beat Aldi price, and then I'm more likely to come to you, even if it's only by a few p, because if I do a big shop, it's worth it. Your traffic light, a boring red symbol. This traffic light just outside the Monza circuits in Italy, and it's 2 red lights, and one's got a heart in it, and the other one's got the horse of Ferrari, because Monza is the home of Ferrari. And if all the traffic lights are like that in Italy, I think that's very cool indeed. Remembering the late Queen Elizabeth on the 3rd anniversary of her death. It's been 3 years already. This time thing is scary. Builders in the oldie days. I mean, look at that. They built an extension on a castle on a cliff on some rocks, and just built the castle on top of the rocks. They've not moved the rocks. They've not tried to fill the rocks in. They've not tried to do anything. They've just built on top of the rocks. And that was built in the 1400s, the 15th century, and it is still standing, and it's on a cliff at the coast. As of 1st of July 2025, the national minimum wage in Australia for an adult full-time employee is $24.95 Australian dollars per hour, or 948.10 per week, based on a 38-hour week. Thank you, Stato. Now, you know I love Banksy. I mean, love Banksy. I don't agree with everything he does, but I love the way he does it. Well, he revealed a new Banksy this week, and the image is stunning. Problem is, the government don't want you to see it. The image is, and I'll show you it properly by doing this and then doing that. It's basically a judge with his gavel, which he goes bang bang, guilty, silence in court, that kind of thing. But he's using it as a weapon to someone on the ground who's holding a placard. She's basically saying that the justice is trying to stamp out peaceful protest, people with placards and that kind of thing. And of course, it's a true statement as far as I'm concerned. That is exactly what the government is trying to do. And Banksy's nailed it. I mean, proper nailed it. But it gets better. Not only has he come up with this image, he's actually put it on the Supreme Court of Justice in London. Like one of the most highest courts in the land. And he's basically vandalised it. So the bigger picture you can see with the 2 guards stood there, that is where the image is that you can see on the lower picture, and they've covered it up so you can't see it. And then they went one step further. They erased it completely, because obviously it's vandalism. I mean, it's worth millions, but you know. So the right picture is what it looked like when the picture was first taken, and the second picture is what it looks like now. And the comment on it is basically, it looks better now. It looks more than it did before. So this person, but I've come to the conclusion that Banksy is not one person. But yeah, I mean, I went to the exhibition when it was on at Salford. I did a video on it. No doubt there'll be a link popping up. So, I did a video on it, and I went round this exhibition, and it was fantastic. It was 27 quid to get in, and I would pay if it came back. I'd go again, even if it was exactly the same. I'd go again, and I'd pay the 27 quid. I just think it's genius what he does. But the thing is, what gets me is, this is the Supreme Court, or the Court of Justice, or whatever it is. So it's, you know, it's a very important building in London, and you can't do that in 3 seconds. That's stencils. What he does is he cuts out the shape for the colours, puts it on the wall, sprays it, takes that off, puts the next one on, sprays that a different colour, takes that off, puts the next one on, sprays that a different colour, takes that one off, puts the next one on, sprays that a different colour, and then legs it. And that's basically what he does. It stencils. So, you know, if you remember in the 90s when it was fashionable to have stencils on your wall, so you go to B&Q or Homebase or whatever and you buy a stencil, and then you put it on your wall, and then you dab your paintbrush on it to get the shape of a flower, a bird, or whatever it was at the time. Well, that's how he does it. That's how he does his paintings. So, is he alive? Well, I don't think he's dead, because there's a new Banksy went up this week. Has his real identity never been revealed? No, my identity's never been... I mean, his identity's never been revealed. Have you ever seen me and Banksy in the same room? That's all I'm saying. But, no, I think he's brilliant. I think he's a genius. Like I said, I don't agree with everything he says, but this, I'd have that as a t-shirt. I would wear that as a t-shirt, because that is the dog's dangly bits. Really, really good. Fantastic image. And it basically, you know, is what's going on at the moment. That's what Keir Starmer's Britain is. And yeah, I just think it's brilliant. Really, 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 really good. Anyway, have a look in the comments. So, let's move on, shall we? Well, I just, you know, keep going on about Banksy. Oh no, here we go. This is the image I was looking for. When you try and remove a piece of art and accidentally make it better, which is Barry Malone's written recently about it. Yeah, it's called karma. There's a lot of karma going on tonight, isn't there? Some bad karma, but some good karma as well. Yeah, the problem with that is I can't draw or do anything with my hands. I can only do stuff on, you know, with video and stuff like that. So if Banksy did videos, then yeah. AOL online dial-up is being turned off after 34 years. I mean, I didn't even know dial-up was still a thing, I'll be brutally honest with you, but apparently it is, but it's been turned off. Remember when you got that... where you were going online, or it wouldn't connect because someone's on the phone, and she'd shout, "Who's on the phone? I want to go online." All that kind of thing, the good old days. Oh, what were they like? Meanwhile, man legally changes gender to identify as a woman in Argentina so he can retire 5 years earlier. In Argentina, a 60-year-old man legally changed his gender to female, not for personal identity reasons, but to qualify for early retirement. Under Argentine law, women can retire at 60 while men must wait until 65. Sergio Lazovic, who admits he does not identify as a woman, says he used the country's gender self-identification law to protest what he sees as inequality. In the UK, penalties for vandalism or criminal damage range from fines to imprisonment, same with graffiti. Yeah, although I do like the tagging. I do like tagging. I think some of it's really, really good. There's a site, that I walk past when I'm doing my Wigan walks, where the spur is for the canal going up to Lee, the Lee Spur, and yeah, really good stuff that they do, the guys. I've even seen them a couple of times. Obviously not filmed them, but yeah. And otherwise, it's just been grey wall. I mean, if they do it, offensively, or do it on things that's people property, then that's a different thing. But they do it to, improve the air. Look at Shoreditch in London. I tried finding that and ended up on a very scary estate full of a lot of very young, very large gentlemen from African heritage, shall we say. It was not the best 30 seconds, 30 minutes of my life. I had twitchy bum. Anyway, let's lighten the load again. Great to see Greta Thunberg bringing back the He-Man haircut. Yeah, Greta Thunberg's on a boat trying to go to Palestine. And she's got this new haircut now, because she's a woman now. She's not a girl anymore, she's a woman. And it is, whoever's put the two together, genius. It is He-Man's hairstyle she's got. I am Greta, Princess of Truth. If only there had been something to prevent this. And we've got a lorry that's crashed into a rather nice thatched cottage. The lorry that is working for the company called Brakes. Oops. Should have used what you said on the charger to... Yeah. Scientists say wind turbines can be recycled into gummy bears. Scientists say the wind turbine blades of the future might not end up as landfill. They could be turned into gummy bears instead. A team at Michigan State University has created a new composite resin made from glass fibres blended with a plant-based polymer and a synthetic one. This breakthrough allows worn-out turbine blades to be recycled into fresh products, from new blades to chewy candies. The resin is designed to break down in an alkaline solution, producing potassium lactate. Once purified, this compound can be reused in sweets and sports drinks. What is that about? I don't get that. Retirement age is going up in the UK to 70 in the 2030s, and by the 2040s, 75. Well, I'll be over. No, I'm caught up in the middle of that somewhere, but not by the 2040s, obviously, because I'm ancient already. But yeah, would you want to eat recycled wind turbine blades? And again, this is the whole thing about wind turbines. Oh, they're environmentally friendly. No, they're not. They cost a fortune to make. They use plastics and chemicals and resins and fiberglass now, apparently, which is not environmentally friendly. They're then shipped halfway around the world. They're then dragged through towns and cities on big lorries. They're then placed massive cranes on these massive towers. They then have to be maintained all the time. They now have these things connected to the national grid so we can get the power from them. They get turned off when it's too windy. They don't work when it's not windy enough. The blades wear out, so then you have to get the big crane to take the blades off, to transport them all the way back to be scrapped into landfill, and then replace the blades or even the whole thing with something else. It's just like, they are not environmentally friendly at all. Making them into gummy bears does not change that situation. Anyway, that's my opinion. I have a quarter of wind turbine, not sure it'll catch on. See, little wind turbines you have on your shed or something, yeah, that's alright, don't have a problem with that. But no, I don't think they're ugly. I mean, I'm not one of these people who think they're horrible. When you're driving somewhere and you see them, or you're on the beach and you see them, like 2 miles out at sea. I don't think they're ugly things. There are uglier things we have to look at. But I just don't think they're cost effective, and I don't think they're even remotely green. But anyway, that's my humble opinion. Look who's talking bollocks. Oh, I thought it'd be a picture of me, but no, it's Keir Starmer. Of course it is. Another Keir Starmer meme. The new British government, and it's Keir Starmer AI'd up as Hitler, which is ironic considering we were talking about Hitler earlier. Studies show men are more loyal to their barbers than their partners. Well, I cut my own hair, but I'll never leave you. Because, yeah, I don't understand that. Although I have heard people say that, to be fair. Donald Trump sparks Viagra speculation as he's pictured taking a pill at the US Open. I mean, there are pills that are blue that are not Viagra. And why would you take one of them when you're at a golf match? Because, you know, it's not going to use it to play golf, is he? Reading newspapers is good for you. Good for your brain even, as dementia risk lowered, says Boffins. Picking up a newspaper like the Daily Star can help boost your memory and attention span. Like the Daily Star? No, that just rots your brain. And maybe if it was the Times or something like that, I mean, you wouldn't necessarily agree with everything they say. Most of it would be bull, but no. Play Mario Kart for 10 hours a week can cut risks of real-life road smashes. Playing video games is not such a waste of time after all, they reckon, as experts believe that long hours of driving games such as Mario Kart can help make us much safer on the road. Mario Kart, you crash into everything. It's like the worst game in the world. If it was, you know, Gran Turismo or Forza Motorsport, not Forza Horizon, then yeah, maybe. It does look like him, yes, you're right, Angela. UK has almost 11,500 wind turbines with approximately 8,827 onshore and 2,652 offshore as of November 2022, said a BBC report. Thank you, Stato. Pretty sure we've got more than that now, though. But yeah, like I say, just absolute nonsense. Imagine going to a safari park and the lion tries to eat your car. UK safari park horror as lion takes huge bite out of car with food in the boot. The peckish lion was whisked away by safari rangers after it sank its razor-sharp teeth into a family's car while they were passing through at Woolburn Safari Park in Bedfordshire. No, me neither. Didn't know it existed, but it does. So there you go. Donald Trump again. Trump's Oval Office bling exposes knockoff £43 plastic sprayed gold. Donald Trump's claim of 24-carat Oval Office has been mocked after sleuths revealed his gold decor is nothing more than £43 plastic moulds sprayed gold bought from the America's answers to B&Q. Well, he's keeping costs down, isn't he? While still maintaining, you know, an image. Man dressed in schoolgirl uniform with pink bag near school as kids not safe. Now, I'm not sure this is AI or not, but why is he not being arrested? Rather than people just taking pictures of him. Mass illness that defied explanation. Meowing nuns and deadly dance crazes. A terrifying incident at Heathrow Airport's Terminal 4, which I spoke about earlier, believed to have been caused by CS gas, was originally blamed on mass hysteria. But what does that really mean? So we've had an update. CS gas might have been used. Okay then. Banksy could be finally be unmasked as police investigate artist's latest mural. The image, which appeared on the wall of the Royal Courts of Justice in central London on Monday, depicted a protester lying on the ground holding a blood-splattered placard with a judge in a wig and gown loose over him. Yeah, that's what most people feel, that the society we're living in now. Priests certain Jesus will return to earth in days as signs of rapture begin. Judgment Day could be just days away, according to a biblical prophecy that could see all Christians disappear from the earth, and respected pastors are calling people to be ready. As I said last week, Jesus, medieval dynamo. Afghan women are left under earthquake rubble by rescuers because of no-touch rule. Just over a week after a deadly earthquake in Afghanistan, hundreds of women remain trapped under the rubble as rescuers refuse to touch them due to the Taliban's rule that they cannot be touched by anyone other than their husbands. Yeah, don't forget, the majority of people coming over to this country are Afghans. and that's the society they come from. My report in the paper did not get published because I mentioned this, along with Eritrea and Iraq, where rape against a spouse is not against the law, and these are the people coming over to this country. That's why I worry about our families. That's why I worry about my granddaughter. That's why I worry about my daughter. That's why I worry about everyone's granddaughters and daughters. It's just shocking what's going on, and they pulled it out of the paper. Didn't get published. Scientists claiming alien ship is heading to Earth said so for a bit of fun. Scientists asked a question whether interstellar object 31/Atlas was alien technology, and the internet caught fire with conspiracy theories and suggestions. Apparently it was all a bit of a wheeze. Well, yeah, I think I called that out right away, didn't I? Major change to contactless card payments. Limits as £100 maximum could be ditched. Don't agree with that. When I first started in retail 30 years ago, if you were buying something on a card, you'd actually physically give me the card. I would look at the card, and then I would put the card in a machine with some paper on top of it. I would then run a thing over it backwards and forwards, and the raised bit of your card with your name and the card number and everything would imprint on the paper. It was like reverse carbon paper. I would then write on the amount that you were spending in writing, i.e. words and numbers. I would then hand it to you. You would then sign it. You would then give it back to me. I would look at it. I would look at the signature on the back of your card. I would check the two were the same. If they were the same, give you your card back, give you the top copy of that. That would then go into the till. You get a receipt. Off you went. Nowadays, you just do that. And now it could be for over £100, £200, £300. Beep. Done. I don't see where the security is in this. The first safari park in the UK was Longleat Safari Park in Wiltshire, which opened its gates in 1966, founded by Henry Thynne, the sixth Marquis of Bath. Thank you, Stato. Meanwhile, biblical rain in Benidorm as Brits swim down the high street and the beaches flood. Holidaymakers in Spain have been left stranded and soggy as storms and flash flooding have hit the country, marking the end of summer. One person was seen swimming down the high street. Putin, he's got away with it recently, but here we go. Putin mouthpiece calls for missile strike on London like Israel did in Qatar. Vladimir Slovyov, a leading TV propagandist in Russia, has called for missile strikes on London. As he said, Western defence ministers meeting in the capital should be viewed as legitimate targets. And why not, eh? And then finally, Trump health fears as side of face completely droops as a public appearance. Internet sleuths have suggested, without any professional medical evidence, that US President Donald Trump may have suffered a stroke due to his mouth and other alleged ailments. Reminds me of the old joke, isn't it? There were two old women walking through a park and a guy jumps out and flashes them. One of the old women had a heart attack, the other one had a stroke. Yeah. Now it's time for breaking news. Sorry. It's terrible. UK's first credit card, Barclaycard, was launched in Barclays 1966, adapted from Bank of America's Bank America card system. Excellent. There's always been a Bristol connection with Banksy. Mail on Sunday USA Angela claimed in 2008 that Banksy's name is Robin Cunningham, but that is unconfirmed. And he's been an artist since he was 14. So yeah, but he's a multi-millionaire now, so fair play to him for doing a few stencils. Can't argue with that. Well, you can do, but you'd be wrong. Sorry. Oh dear. Right then, let's have a look at what is going on, what's been breaking in the news whilst I've been talking about the news. Oh, it's gone. Hang on, get it back again. Oh, Mandygate. I'm trying to figure out what Mandygate was. With Mandygate, Mandelson, they call it Mandygate. As Keir Starmer finally run out of luck. Well, fingers crossed. Officials closed big cat attraction after a zookeeper was eaten alive by lions. Ugh. And that was the people who were looking at a couple of weeks ago, actually, who actually ride around in a cage and the lions are wild and they just kind of watch you. Jaguar Land Rover backtrack saying hackers may have taken some data from their systems. They said no data had been taken. They got hacked earlier on this week, last week or the week before. In fact, a lot of the factories haven't reopened again. And this is why I never give my true data now. As far as Tesco is concerned, I am a woman called, what am I called? Anita. She drinks a lot of Guinness. But why give people your data for free when all they do is knock 40p off a £100 shop? You can stick that up your arse. What else have we got? Lightning strike spots rush hour delays across Greater Manchester. Government issues new pay-per-mile driving tax update after being questioned by MP. Yeah, and 15-minute cities and all that. Keep an eye out. Oh, it turns out 3 hours ago, according to the Daily Mail, Keir Starmer edited manual on interpreting human rights laws that prevent deportations. So when he was Chief of Justice, he rewrote the manual, edited it, so it was more difficult to deport people from this country by reinterpreting the HMRC. Rachel Reeve admits economy is stuck as she confirms business rates overhaul. No shit, Sherlock. Yeah, she's doubled business rates for everyone, and then she's wondering why people are losing their jobs left, right and centre, and big companies are going bust and shutting shops, and not got a clue. Yvette Cooper is frustrated to be ousted as Home Secretary, reveals head balls. She's now the Foreign Secretary. What else have we got? Hunt for Dine and Dash family of 8 that brazenly stole restaurant we can't pay. Told restaurant we can't pay. Foreign drivers urged to display T plates after raising crashes. I mean, maybe get professional drivers who are foreign to wear, well, not drive. That's probably a better way of doing it. Moment Ukraine cripples £45 million Russian Black Sea spy ship in pinpoint drone strike. And there's a video that's on the Metro. Monopoly at McDonald's is back. Special menu, I've tried everything. Day 1, day 2. Torsten Bell refuses to rule out tax raid on pensioners. What a tosser. There's a warning from the Daily Express to anyone with contactless credit or debit card, probably what I've just been saying, to be fair. Man taken to hospital after suspected hit and run in Liverpool. 30th anniversary of Hollyoaks. How? Starmer fears MP's fury over Mandelson's scandal. Charlie Kirk shooting latest. Trump encourages non-violent response as search for shooting suspect continues. Bridget Phillipson and Lucy Powell go head-to-head for the Labour deputy leadership. Both of them are incredibly dangerous people. They make Keir Starmer look like a puppy. Nigel Farage urged to clarify whether he saved tax on Essex constituency home. Oh, here we go. Bodily fluid smeared on synagogues during wave of anti-Semitic attacks. Don't agree with anything like that. Calls for wet wipe ban after 5 million clogged River Thames. So that's it. That is the news. Unless there's any other breaking news. M&S Tech chief quits in wake of cyber attack. Blackpool could be getting a new upside down and spinning house attraction. Didn't they have one of them years ago? Oh. SNP led council to remove union flags from lampposts. Hot drinks have been linked to one type of cancer. What? That was 5 days ago. Fury erupts as Home Office. Secret plan to house illegal migrants in student flats. Hulk Hogan leaves daughter out of $5 million will and gives it all to his son. Labour was unprepared for the state of its inheritance, new Commons leader says. Yeah, we got that. Mandelson admitted continuing relationship with Epstein in vetting interview as questions mount for Starmer. I think we're there. Yeah, it's all the same stuff now. Oh, there's a new water resort coming to Old Trafford when they build a new... Oh no, Trafford Centre. They're building a new massive water park there apparently. That's it, I think. Yeah. National Television Awards. Who cares? Who cares? So there you go then. Gaming Devon. Well, you say taking shape. Stato. We'll wait yet. Oh, the Local Government Finance Act 1988 introduced business rates in England and Wales from 1990, repealing its immediate predecessor, the General Rate Act in 1967. The problem is, the business rates, particularly for retail units and hospitality, are set at the rates of the businesses back then, and it's just gone up with inflation. The problem is that businesses have gone down because of the internet and changing shopping patterns and things like that. So that is the one that's why I ended up. It was the business rates that made me end up on a motorway bridge about 10 years ago, because I couldn't cope anymore. There is no single hardest driving test, but Japan, Finland, Denmark and China are consistently cited for their rigorous standards requiring extensive theoretical and practical training. We were doing I keep saying I will, but I never do. Lego building. Going to bed soon, got an MRI scan tomorrow. Ooh, good luck with that dream frequency. Hope everything goes okay for you, mate. And that is it. So, we'll have a look at top fans. We've had 86 views. So, Scottish Girls, number 1 with 150 XP. Daniel T is number 2 with 125. Stato is number 3 with 100. Gordy Everton is 4th, 75. Also on 75 is Danger Mouse. Stephen LFC with Rollo and Kelly as well. You're in 6th place with 50. Followed by Seaside Bandit, also on 50. Damana, that's a new name, 50. Kit Destiny, new name, 5th, 25. Tyson Casey, 25. And 11th is the Gaming Demon with 25 as well. So before, we don't mind people joining in the chat, just keep it polite, clean, and we can have a discussion. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, that is absolutely fine. Big shout out to everyone who's contributed. Dream Frequency, VBRL, Angela DT, Gordy, Everton, Stato, Stephen LFC, Kelly, and Rollo. Rollo. Anyone else? Yeah, we got some new ones at the bottom, didn't we? Seaside Bandit, Kit Dynasty, Damon H. Scrolling. Keep scrolling. Poop Leo, wherever it was. What did you write? Here we go. See. There we go. Oh God. Just go away. There we go. What's with the fake ball earth spinning? That's not fake, that's real. Gaming Demon. It's a real earth. That's the real earth. It's real. It's a real thing. Look, I can touch it and spin it. I can't, obviously. Or could I? Yeah, I mean, obviously the Earth's flat, but you know we have to play along, don't we? I think that's it. Yep, that's everyone. So yeah, good luck, Drew Frequency. So that is it. Thank you very much for watching, if indeed you are. We've had 89 views, we've had 8 likes, average is 9 minutes 42. Most we've had at any one time is around about 15. So there you go. It's all done and dusted. Nearly 2 hours as well, but there was some heavy stuff tonight, so I do apologise for that. Mainly due to the Kirk, Charlie Kirk stuff that's gone on. So yeah, apologies, but we need to go on that. Yes, they are making a film version of Bagpuss. Bagpuss, one of my least favourite shows of all time. I hated it. I mean, not just a little bit. I really hated it, Bagpuss. I'm going to be up early tomorrow as well. Stuff to do, people to see. So yeah, that is it. Thank you very much for watching, if indeed you still are. It's been a pleasure as always. Enjoy the chats, and all being well, we will see you again next week for some more of the same. Until then, I'll be seeing you. Bye. Tea.